All right, what's up, everybody? This is a little one-off podcast, something that I've been working on for the last few weeks that I'm super excited about. Maybe this could be considered part of the More Than Nothing series that we do here at Street Parking. But this podcast is how to succeed in building consistency. Advice from Street Parking members who have logged over 1,000 workouts. So what I wanted to do was, instead of me just rambling on in my own words, go to the people in our community who have found the most success in building consistency and ask them what advice they would have to newer Street Parking members. And that could be somebody that's new, or somebody that just hasn't quite found consistency yet, or maybe somebody that fell off and just came back, or just anyone that's somewhere along their path and is still working to find consistency. These members that have logged more than 1,000 workouts, which now with the new app is 1,000 days, how they've done that. Like, what are their tips? What are their advice? Because these are just real people from varied backgrounds. And there's a couple hundred of them now. I don't know. I think I could be exaggerating that. I'm pretty sure there are. I'm not sure the exact number. But we've been at this thing for almost 6 years now, and we've got this group of people who have taken the tools from Street Parking and have made them work in such a way that they have found incredible consistency. And I just thought, why don't I ask them how they did it and turn that into an episode here. So we're filming the video. I am going to be referencing my notes quite a bit. So I'm not going to be staring at the camera too much. I didn't want to go live because I didn't want to get super distracted, because this isn't so much of a question and answer thing. And so that we can post this video for captions later. But if you're just listening to the audio, what I wanted to do is quote them. And so what I found was I went through all of the answers, and I think I got something like, I asked all of the members who have over 1,000 workouts. I reached out to them and I asked them for this advice. And I got, I think, something like 140 or 150 responses. I've spent the last 2 weeks, I've gone through all of them. And what I started to do was notice the patterns. And there are 15 things. I know that sounds like a lot. A lot of them you'll notice are tied together. 15 pieces of advice that seemed to be repeated over and over and over again from this group. Many of them mentioned multiple of these things within their answers, and they all provided such great insight to how they have found and built consistency. I'm super pumped about this. These are not necessarily in order. I did put the very last one last on purpose to kind of like, close it out with a bang. So make sure you stick around for that. But the rest of them, they're not necessarily in any specific order. And I just can't wait to get started. Please share this podcast with other members or even people outside of our community, because quite honestly, most of the suggestions could apply to anyone doing anything with their fitness. So it doesn't necessarily need to be with the Street Parking program. It could be whatever people are out there trying to do with their health and fitness. So without further ado, let's get into this. How to succeed in building consistency. Advice from Street Parking members with over 1,000 logged workouts. First, you don't need to be a certain fitness level to start or to start over. The direct quote that I'm going to pull, and I'm not going to name who said all of these things, but this is what one member said. You can start these workouts from a base of really poor or absent fitness. I know because I did that. My first shift workout took twice as long as the cutoff time, and I could hardly walk from air squats. A lot has changed in 3.5 years. One of the things that really holds people back from finding consistency is starting in the first place. Something that we hear a lot, and something that I've heard over the 2 decades that I've been a coach or a trainer or in this industry, is that I need to get in shape before I start. That, first of all, I understand the sentiment for sure. It's like, I'm not ready for that. I need to do something else first. But It's just not true. The tools that we provide within street parking, specifically the customization options, the different programs, shift, all of that will allow you to start where you're at. So if you're listening to this and you haven't yet started, or you think you need to start over, but you think that you're not in shape enough to dive in, don't delay. All the tools are there for you. Make sure that you check out all of the coaches' notes and all of the options and customizations and everything, because there's no reason that you can't start. We've got people in our community that are starting with zero fitness. We've got people in our community that are quite a bit older. My parents both participate in street parking. They're both over 70 years old. And my dad had never done any sort of this type of fitness before street parking. We have people returning from injury. There are options for all of that. So you don't need to be a certain fitness level to start or start over. Just pick a workout and go for it. Do what you can. Next, find consistency no matter what. Make it as common as brushing your teeth. This is one that we talk about a lot. If you've been in the community for any amount of time, you've probably heard us use this example. But here are the quotes from the members themselves, and they brought it up. So again, this isn't me pushing this on you. This example is something that actually stuck and worked for them. Let's hear what they had to say. Working out at home and fitness freedom gives you total control over your results. Fitness and exercise is essential to health, just like brushing your teeth. Another quote, don't think about it. Make it routine. Show up at roughly the same time and days of the week until it starts to feel like it's just what you do. Most of us, when it comes to daily habits like brushing our teeth, don't really think about it. It's not like we decide, oh shoot, am I going to brush my teeth today? I don't know. I'll decide later. That's not how it works. We just automatically do it because as children, maybe we were forced to do it. I know my kids, I have to force them to do it sometimes, but then it just becomes a habit and it's like not exciting. It's not a big deal. It's just something that you do to take care of yourself. And I really love that. It starts to just feel like it is just what you do. Another quote, the longer you are consistent, the more it becomes who you are. I don't work out because I'm motivated. I do it because it's ingrained in me. It doesn't have to look pretty. You can be in your PJs, no shoes or socks, half asleep, but you feel so much better once it's done. I put that quote in the brushing your teeth section because I feel like that's honestly where a lot of us are at night when we go to do our nighttime routine. It's like, oh, okay, let me just get this over really quick so I can crash out in my bed. And it's okay to have to go into workouts like that sometime where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to put on my shoes and I'm not going to count my rounds and I'm just going to do this real quick because it's part of who I am. It's a habit for me and because it's important for me and I know it's important for my health. And it's that mindset of it's just something that you do. And sometimes we're flossing and we're rinsing and we're doing the full, 3 minutes of brushing. And sometimes it's like a quick, let me get this over with and done. And that's the same way that we can view our fitness. One common phrase that came up a lot, this one was maybe repeated more than anything else when I polled this group. The phrase was, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you don't feel like it. For some people, the days that we don't feel like it are more common than others. In different seasons, we're going to feel like it less than others. Like today, while we're recording this, it's the first day in the last few months here in the Pacific Northwest where it's very gray and rainy. And Caitlin and I were just joking about how here it is. We're not going to see the sun again until May. You know what I mean? And it becomes harder to work out in this environment. And so there are going to be more days when the weather is like this that I don't feel like it than there are when it's super sunny and warm and nice outside. The last quote from this group is stop trying to rely on motivation. Show up and put in the work, especially when you don't feel like it. All right. So consistency, no matter what, just like brushing your teeth. The next piece of advice that I saw repeated quite a bit was, when possible, create systems or do some sort of habit stacking. Molly made a really cool post about this on Instagram earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, about before you start sipping on your morning coffee, drink a big glass of water. And that's an example of habit stacking. It's like we all are going to reach, well, not all of us, but most of us are going to reach for that coffee. It's one of the very first things that's kind of just what we do in the morning to help us wake up. Well, if water is something that we struggle with, see, if you're watching the video, I've got a water and a coffee here right now, actually. If I stack drinking water on top of the coffee habit that's already ingrained and it's something that I look forward to, then I'm much more likely to drink the water. So if it's like, okay, coffee's going to be there, I just need to make myself drink a glass of water before I start the coffee. Those two things are now tied together, and I'm much more likely to do the one that I'm less excited about. Some of the quotes from members on this one, actually, let me take a sip of water right now. Some of the quotes from members on this one are, set a schedule or time for yourself that you can meet. If that means putting your workout clothes next to your bed or alarm clock so that the first thing you see in the morning, or by the front door, so they are the first thing you see when you get home. So if you work out in the morning, I've seen members say that they sleep in their workout clothes so that they don't have to change, or they just work out in their pajamas. I also like the idea of don't even go inside your house. I've seen members talk about how they'll change into their workout clothes at work and go into their garage and not even go inside their home before they at least start warming up. I think that if you know that that's something that you struggle with, like if you know that you're going to go home and sit on the couch and then it's like a 50-50 chance that you're not going to get back up again, or you're going to get distracted by something that you want to clean or whatever, I think that some of these tricks are really cool. Another member said, I set out my clothes each night, select the program or program options that I'm going to do, and even set up the equipment. The fewer barriers to entry that you can set up in the decision-making process when you are motivated, when you are in a better mindset, when you're not tired or whatever, the more likely you are to do it. So I think one of the benefits of having people that you work out with or going to a gym facility or something like that is that other people are going to hold you accountable. Well, for those of us in the community that work out alone, we lose that a little bit, and that's a real thing. So creating fewer and fewer barriers to entry can really help. So the equipment's already set up. I'm already in my clothes. My pre-workout shake is already made. Gosh dang it. Like I've already prepped this much. I'm much more likely to do it than if I leave all of that stuff to be done when I'm less motivated. When possible, create systems or habit stack. Next one. Don't wait to start dialing in your nutrition. What nobody said, I don't have a specific quote for this one because that was the quote that was repeated over and over, like start working on your nutrition right away. Don't wait. Look at your nutrition. There was different variations of that. They were all pretty short. But what no one said, and what you will never hear us say, is to buy a template on day one and stick to it 100% completely. Overhaul your whole life right away. That's not the message, and that's not what we would encourage, right? But just as we need to create habits, systems, and consistency around the workouts and our movement, we need to do that with our nutrition as well. And I want our members to hear that whether you choose to participate in it fully or heavily or not, we view nutrition and creating better habits around your eating and other lifestyle habits as well are just as much of the street parking program as the workouts themselves. Not everybody participates in those things, and it's unfortunate because those things are just as important, if not more important, to the results that many of you guys are after. So start with something, right? SP provides a ton of resources for that, and we encourage small changes. And little teaser, there are super cool tools that are coming up in 2023 to help you guys make those small changes and to give you some ways to track them. So I'm super excited for that. And this one kind of feeds into the next one, which I saw a lot, was be patient. Oof, this one's hard. This one is not what the general fitness industry, I mean, most of these things are not at all what the fitness industry at large are going to tell you is to be patient and be prepared to be patient. Here's a quote from a member. Small changes. Implementing small changes to your diet and workouts creates consistency, which over time creates habits. Another quote. Find one thing to do well. Do it well. When it's a habit, pick something else. It's not do all the things well, do them well from the very beginning, or you failed. And I think that's where a lot of us think that we need to be. That's what we dive into. As we're recording this, it's October right now. So in a couple months, it'll be January, and we'll see people all over the place trying to overhaul their life all in one day or week and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to eat this anymore. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I've got to do all of it right now or it's not going to work. These members who have found success and consistency are telling you guys, find one thing, do it well, not necessarily master it, do it well, make it a habit, and then pick something else. Okay. This week, I'm just going to drink more water. And maybe I do that for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, now that's kind of like a thing. I just do it and I don't think about it so much. So next, I'm going to eat veggies at dinner every single day. And that might take me 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to add to be on top of the water. And then it's the next thing. And then it's the next thing. You have your whole life. Stop trying to fit it into one month or one challenge or one thing, because you might stick to it for January or 6 weeks, and then you will fall off. It's not the way to create lifelong habits and lifelong change. Final quote for this one, focus on being 365 moderate. Don't go too hard and burn out. Life is going to happen. Just find a way to do more than nothing when that happens. So this incorporates a bunch of these tips. But I love that they mentioned 365 moderate. I did a post, I don't know, it's probably been like a year and a half or something like that ago, where I was playing on this idea of this popular challenge, for lack of a better word, that's not inside of our community, called 75 Hard. And it's not that there's anything wrong with this system. A lot of our members have done it. But it's a lot. It's asking people to do a lot and to do it for 75 days. And so I made kind of like what I would challenge people to do is to keep moderate habits, to build moderate habits, to have this I do the best that I can for 365 days a year instead of going really, really hard for a shorter period of time. And I love that they brought that up. A lot of members really latched onto that. It's been, like I said, it's been a year and a half, and I still see people using that hashtag and referencing that post. So that's really cool. Next one. I love this one. Have goals and rewards that are not aesthetic or based on your weight or weight loss. Quote, find a unique way to set goals of recording measurable results and reward yourself for them. If you're a new member or if you've been around any amount of time, you'll notice, or maybe you have seen, that we have the 75, 365, and 1000 earned gear. We've got badges for those things, and we've got badges for things like 52-week endurance. Having a goal that is not tied to your aesthetic or weight loss or fat loss or even your workout scores, this is why we've created those things. All of our rewards are built around consistency, and we have given you a million different ways to achieve that. So So with the 75, 365, and 1,000 can be completed with any combination of any of the workouts. It could be 75 shift workouts. It could be 75 endurance workouts. It could be a mixture of extra challenge and Oli EMOM and shift and body weight, because you had, all of it counts. None of your scores will dictate whether or not your workout counted that day. And our goal for you guys is straight up to build consistency. We have goals for you after that, for sure. Like, okay, you found consistency. Now what's something else you want to focus on? You want to go run a marathon? I have no issue. We have no issue with if you have a weight loss goal, or if you want to lose a size, you drop a dress size or something like that. But what we will always encourage is to have consistency be your number one goal, and then have other goals and rewards that are not aesthetic or weight-based. So maybe your goal would be to choose a couple of the vault workouts on round 2 that you want to get a better score, and you really focus on that. Maybe your goal is, I want to complete both of the Power 30 extra programs in the next 6 months. Have something that's not just how you look, please. That's a huge, super important. I love this one piece of advice. And then you guys can set up, I think what this member is mentioning is give yourself some rewards too. We have the rewards for you, but maybe you have some rewards that you'd like to give yourself as well. We do this with our kids, right? All the time is, hey, my kids, it's like, if you get through all 10 of these Bob's books, then we can go to the trampoline park or whatever. Find some stuff like that motivate you, that's outside of how you look and your weight. Next one. I love this one too. I mean, obviously I love all of them, but this one's great. Commit to learning, not just following directions. This is about accountability. It's one of several that are about accountability. The quote from the member here was, and a couple people mentioned this, the podcasts are such an amazing resource. I have learned so much about the why behind how workouts are programmed and how our bodies work. Join a focus group, read the newsletters, watch the daily workout videos, and read the coach's notes. I know that we all have the attention span of like a Cocker Spaniel. It's really bad what social media and just most of us have a really, myself included, like I'm really bad at reading an entire email. I'm really bad at watching the directions and reading the coach's notes. I mean, not me specifically, but I get that when I do that in other areas outside of street parking with stuff that I'm trying to learn. I've been trying to learn the piano, and sometimes I need to slow myself down and actually read the notes on the page of the book that's trying to teach me what I'm doing here. It's hard, and it's something that many of us struggle with, but I have found that people, myself included, are so much more successful when they understand the why behind what they're doing, and it's so much easier to buy in and stick to it. I've been thinking a lot about this lately when it comes to my own fitness. When I started CrossFit back in 2007, there were no affiliates for me to go to in my area. I have actually never been a member of a CrossFit gym. So I participated in CrossFit from 2007 to 2016 officially. You know, a lot of what we do has huge carryover, and I would never try to act like it doesn't. But as far as like working out in gyms and things like that, however, I was never a member, really. Everything that I learned from how to do the workouts, how to do the movements, what the methodology was, the why behind it, why this type of training is better or different than what I was doing before, all came from watching videos on their website. And I ended up competing and working for them for years without ever actually having anybody else besides these videos teach me about what to do. I researched it all on my own, and I was so passionate about it that I decided to learn about it and research it all on my own. And because I did that, I felt like I gained such a better understanding of it that I had such a deeper buy-in to it. So I really encourage you guys, don't just follow directions. Read those coaches' notes, watch the videos, read the newsletters. I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this or watching this, I might be preaching to the choir, but help other members realize that too. The more you understand what's behind the curtain, the more you're going to see the value in what we're trying to teach you and what we're trying to get you to do. And the more successful you will become and the more autonomy you will have, the more in control you will feel when life gets out of control. Commit to learning, not just following directions. Next one, don't compare yourself to others. This one's huge, right? This should be true in life in general, in most situations, not all, but most. And it should be true, especially when you're working out at home alone and you don't know any of these people. Let's hear some of the quotes here. First one, fitness is a lifelong journey, not a race with a finish line. Do what you can and what works best for you. Every one of us is different, right? Next one, do whatever works best for you in this season of life. Change your workouts or modify the movements to fit what works for you right now. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Everybody's on a 50, it seems like everybody's doing 52-week endurance and I don't want to, or B, don't have the equipment, or C, don't have the time. You don't have to do it. That's why we give you guys so many options. The other thing to note is, okay, so when we started street parking, if you weren't around, certainly if you've been around less than a year at this point and you've only ever seen street parking delivered on the app or the platform that we have now, you won't have experienced Wodify, which is the system that we used before. But if you were around in the super early days, which obviously most of these people who have over 1,000 workouts have been around, I would say at least 3 years, you won't have been a part of when we had to transition people away from caring about the whiteboard or the leaderboard. And if you come from a background that's not CrossFit, which we have a lot of members that have never participated in that community, the whiteboard or the leaderboard would basically be where you enter your score and then you're able to pull up what everyone else's score was. And we learned, and Julian and I come from a competitive background, so that is something that we used to place a lot of value on as well. I think in person, it can be very motivating. I think that doing some sort of competing, whether it's in a CrossFit setting or a triathlon or a 5K or a basketball game, there are huge benefits to that. What we found though, with people with an online community and people who are by and large working out alone, what tended to happen is you could be comparing your worst day to someone else's best day and allowing that to dictate whether or not you were successful that day. You might be comparing your score with somebody who accidentally or on purpose miscounted or just straight up lied. You could have been interrupted by your kid 4 times, and this other person had the perfect setup that day with the great music and their nutrition was on point and they got really good sleep that night. And I mean, the list goes on and on. And so what was happening was people were they would be super excited about completing the workout and then immediately have that taken away from them based on looking at other people's scores. So when we built our own platform, we took that piece away and we encourage people to focus only on, number 1, their consistency, 2, their effort, and then when it's appropriate, how they're improving when they're repeating workouts. Don't compare yourself to others, whether it's in the workouts or the habits that you've got going in your lifestyle. If you're starting out brand new and just getting some veggies once a day is a really big deal for you, don't compare yourself to the person who's been doing this for 4 years, who has the perfect meal prep plan and the perfect meals that they're posting all the time. You're not in the same place. You can get there, but don't compare yourself. There's nothing to be gained from that in most situations. Next one, customize, customize, customize. Obviously, this was brought up a lot. It was brought up to customize for mental reasons, physical reasons, fitness level, equipment. A lot of the members who have over 1,000 workouts wanted to make it clear to all of you that are newer to the program that Shift is not easier. It's more simple, but it is definitely not easier. They wanted to make it clear to you guys that all of them have used Shift from time to time and have had to rely on that. So even if, and some of these people obviously are pretty dang fit, and still they'll reach and grab a Shift if they're on vacation or if they just need to do a workout that's more simple for whatever reason. Shift is not easier. This one is all about fitness freedom. You guys hear us say that a lot. We have many members who commented that they started out with just a single pair of dumbbells. So many of these members that are now at 1,000 plus workouts had just a single pair of dumbbells to start. Here's a couple quotes from them about this. Use whatever equipment you have. I started with just one set of dumbbells. You don't have to buy everything all at once. I mean, or ever, really. You could do it all with a pair of dumbbells forever if you had to. And you could still gain and remain really freaking fit if you did that. That's what Project April is all about, which if you weren't a member in April and you haven't ever been with us in April, we look forward to that. Next one, it is okay to modify a workout to meet the goals of the workout. I would say that it's encouraged, right? Fit with what you are capable of doing and fit with equipment that you have. It is better to do a 10-minute workout with modifications rather than just not do it because you don't have all of the equipment or you can't do one of the movements. Also, customizing doesn't necessarily mean making the workout easier. It could just mean making it different. Julian does this a lot because he is creative and we've been doing this, and by this I just mean working out consistently with these types of workouts for so long that sometimes it's like, you know what, sounds more fun today. I'm going to grab the D-ball and do D-ball over the shoulder instead of power cleans. You know what? Sounds more fun today. I'm going to pull the sled instead of run because it's really nice outside and I haven't done the sled for a while. And so I'm going to do that. You know what? I'm going to go heavier today and lower the reps a little bit because I feel like moving heavier weight. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, how do I know how to do that? Go back to, what we talked about before, commit to learning. The more that you pay attention to these podcasts, to the emails that you get, to all of the coaches' notes and learn about these extra programs, the more confident you're going to be in knowing how to do that and exercising your fitness freedom. If you're just following instructions and you're never learning the why or learning the methodology, then you're always going to second guess what would be appropriate here. What could I do? Any of it's allowed. We always say, like, you're not going to mess it up. As long as you're working out and doing something, you're not going to mess it up. But the more you understand about what goes into these things through learning with the resources that we give you, the more power you are going to have to customize for both when you need to simplify the workout or if you're injured or pregnant or sick or whatever, but also when you just want to change it to be different, more fun, or more challenging. So, and there was a quote from a member about that, actually. There's nothing wrong with modifying workouts to what you prefer. Some days I do the suggested weight, but scale to knee push-ups because I'm just not feeling toe push-ups. And some days I do shift, but I use a heavier weight. So all of that feeds into the next one, which is, I love that they're saying this to you guys because our message is you don't need to do more. You just need to be consistent. So the next piece of advice is one workout per day. Do one. at least at first and probably most of the time, forever, choose one thing. And then some people said use the variety. Everybody said the dailies are all you actually need, but there was a mix between just do the daily and don't even look at anything else. And then some of them actually suggested dive into the extra programs right away and find some of the stuff that you think you might like. Don't feel like you just have to do the daily workout. So I don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer for that. The one quote that I put here that I really love was do the daily workout, do it 3 to 5 times a week, rest 2 to 4 times, repeat. Yes, it's that easy. No, you don't need to do anything else. That is a message coming from, I know who wrote that one, and this person has over 2,000 logged workouts. Do the daily workout. Do it 3 to 5 times per week. Rest 2 to 4 times, repeat. Yes, it's that easy. No, you don't need to do anything else. We have members who never do the extra programs at all, ever. And they find consistency. We have members that never do a daily workout and they do all of their training from the extra programs and find consistency. There's no right or wrong way, but I will say that if you expect yourself to do more than one workout a day, whether that's multiple sessions or multiple, I'm going to do the daily and plus X, or I'm going to do this and this. At some point, you're going to run into a period of your life where you're not going to have enough time or energy to maintain that. And if you think that's what's necessary, your consistency is going to suffer. So go into this knowing that one workout per day is enough and you never have to do more than that. Next one, turn off the clock. Member says, just show up and put one foot in front of the other. Don't sweat the small stuff. The weights you use, the time on the clock, what other people are saying or doing, focus on your own journey. Don't be afraid to turn off the clock and just go. This kind of ties into a little bit of not comparing yourself to others. One of the things that I noticed when I was working out or when I was coaching at gyms, and even when I was training with other people, I was an athlete at a certain level. And when I would have bad days, when I was tired, when I was really sore, when I was mentally a little checked out, and I worked out with other people, I knew that those people had an expectation level of what I should be able to do in this workout. I had an expectation level and I knew what I was actually capable of physically. But if mentally or for whatever reason, I was struggling to feel like I could achieve that, and I've seen it with countless other people, I would be more likely to not train than to give a subpar performance. This is very common. It's another one of the reasons that we did not like the whiteboard or the leaderboard, is because if people didn't feel like they could put up a score that was what other people expected of them, or what they expected of themselves, because they were just having an off day or week or month or whatever, they were less likely to actually work out. And they would just skip it. Well, I'm not going to be able to use 95 pounds today, so I'm not going to be able to do that workout the way it's written. So, I don't feel like going that hard. And they just wouldn't work out. Turn off the clock if you need to. Don't count your rounds. Like if it's an AMRAP, just move the entire time and don't worry about what your score is. You are allowed to log the workout and not enter a score. If you're doing that all the time, I would say that maybe we need to look at getting you over the hurdle of your own expectations. But from time to time, just don't have a score. And that's encouraged. Next one. I mean, these all are kind of feeding into each other at this point, but expect bad days. The quote that I loved here, there's a couple of them for this one, but this one was very simple. Never quit on a hard day. It was just that. The member wants you guys to know, never quit on a hard day. And the reality is you will get sick. If you're here for consistency and lifelong fitness, let's just be honest right now, right? You're going to get sick. You're going to go on vacation. Life will throw twists and turns that you will not see coming. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, I don't know what's going to happen after I walk out of this room. That might impact what I had planned for the rest of the day or the week, right? It's not in the easy days that consistency is built, but in how resilient we are through the unexpected that will make and break everything. Expect bad days. Here's another quote from a member about this. It's usually not easy. See what they said there? It's usually not easy. It's hard every day. But when you are the only one responsible for your health, mental strength, and accomplishments, you have to do it for you. And consistency is the most rewarding gift you can give yourself. This person went on to say, every day that you show up, you win, and you win even bigger on days that you don't want to go or you don't want to do it. Your consistency becomes your strength, and you find the best version of yourself because you did it for yourself. I love that so much. And guys, if you fall off, refer back to that brushing the teeth example. Let's think about it here. We had a bad day. Maybe you didn't work out. Maybe you didn't work out for a week, right? If you missed a few days of brushing your teeth, I mean, some of us have probably been there. I don't know. As an adult, I don't know that I have been, but maybe. I don't think so. Maybe. If you missed a few days of brushing your teeth, would you wait until Monday to pick it back up? Would you wait until a new month? Or even worse, would you wait until the new year? If you missed a few days of brushing your teeth because life happened? Absolutely not. And that goes back to that example of if you fall off, when you fall off, get right back on it. Okay. Next one, lean on the community. I'm just going to go through some rapid fire quotes here with this one. First one, do the challenges. They are fun and keep you motivated and essentially help you to learn who most people that are active in this community. The challenges are a great way to see the personalities of other people in the community because we do fun little things where we encourage people to post and you see it. Next one, put a key in your social media handle if you want to connect with more street parkers. So, I mean, this one sounds a little culty to be honest, but a lot of members do it on Instagram. They'll put a key next to their name so that if someone's requesting to follow you and you see the little key, you know it's because they're a street parking member. Use the community to your advantage, whether that be life-related, fitness questions. There is someone to help everyone and anyone out. Surround yourself with people who can keep you accountable. If you're worried about working out alone, find a buddy virtually. A lot of people work out without people, and they find these virtual friends that they've never met in person. One thing that you'll hear us say from time to time is it's important for you to be a part of a culture where your desired behavior is normal. And not all of us have a great support system like that in our real life when it comes to health and fitness. It's actually really hard to find. So this is why we have spent so much time, effort, manpower, and energy on building a strong online community. We're trying to provide you guys that culture, that group of people that you can feel a part of where your desired behavior is normal. It's normal to bring your own food to work. It's normal to work out in your living room. It's normal to let your kids run around while you're doing fitness. It's normal to walk around your neighborhood with a sled. It's hard to find that for a lot of us in our real life. So we're trying to help provide that for you, where you feel like you've got the support and you can see other people who look like you, who you relate to, that are doing what you're doing. And so that's why we put so much into the community. Also, learn how to scroll and pass. That wasn't encouraged by one of our members, but I'm encouraging that. If you're on the pages and you see something that you disagree with, or if somebody's, maybe getting a little too personal with one of their posts and the advice that they're asking for, we try to keep a handle on that stuff. But the way that we view the community is we wanted to build an online place. For us, it's our members' Facebook group that feels like it would if you were inside of an in-person gym. And we've gotten suggestions from members over the years of like, can't we just tell people that they're only allowed to post stuff that's related to fitness and this and that? And I totally get that because it does get a little crazy in there sometimes. But I will say that I think we have succeeded in building that online gym. And what I mean by that is if you were to go to a class at a gym, what would people be talking about before class? What would people be talking about after class? What would people be talking about when they go to coffee after the workout is over, right? So they would be talking about their family, their friends, their jobs. They would be making jokes. They would be building friendships and finding the people that they had stuff in common with and building those relationships. And so as much as we get that the page can be overwhelming with stuff that's not necessarily fitness related at times, that's the reason for it. And we want you guys to understand that. But back to scroll and pass, if you're just looking for the fitness related content, just pass through the posts that are not fitness related necessarily. And you can use the hashtag SP coaching to look for fitness related questions. You can use the hashtag SP coaching to get advice from your coach. And we try to pin posts from the coaches and from our staff to the top of the Facebook group if you're looking specifically for interacting with us. I would encourage you to try to make some friendships though. 2 more. The next 2 are loaded, okay? We're ready for this? You are responsible. Here's a quote. Don't use time as an excuse. If it's important and you have to decide for yourself if it is or if it isn't, you will find 20 to 30 minutes in your day to get your workout in. No one can do that or decide that for you. Next one. You are entirely up to you. I actually have that posted in my gym. I have to hold myself accountable. I have to show up for myself. No one else can do that for me. I can get the tools from street parking, but I need to implement them for myself. Controlling your own fitness will always be an option, even when life throws uncontrollable things at you. Guys, accountability is so critical to consistency and to growth. You will not find consistency if you are constantly blaming circumstances outside of your control. You will never grow into the person that you're capable of becoming. This mindset shift is really hard. It's really hard, and it's harder for some people than others. But start today to switch this well, this happened, so I can't do this now. Switch that thinking and switch the way that you say that to, well, okay, my original plan is not going to work. What can I do to control and make the most out of this current situation now? What am I in control of? What's the next best thing? And take it one day, one decision at a time. We cannot do this for you. We cannot come to your house and pull you out of bed and take you into the garage and force you to do these workouts. We can't care about it more than you do. And sometimes for some people, it feels like we do care about it more than they do. And that's really hard for us. And we all here care so much that we tend to take it personal. But at the end of the day, we can't do this for you. But the support and the tools are here if you want them and if you're ready to use them. You are responsible. Write that down somewhere. I am responsible. I get to make the next best decision, one decision at a time. And finally, the thing that was probably repeated more than anything, which just makes me super happy. It's something that I just randomly put in a post, I think 3.5 years ago, is do more than nothing. Here are the quotes. Something is better than nothing. It's easier to keep doing a little than to have to start over. Next one. Consistency does not equal perfection. Being consistent doesn't mean every day you're going to be able to go all out and crush your goals in PR. Some, actually many, days will be a battle to even start a workout. Some days will be a battle to finish one because you're interrupted by life or your kids, sometimes multiple times in a single workout. Some days, weeks, or months, it will just be about overcoming injury and how you work around it. It's about showing up for yourself repeatedly for whatever season that you're in. I did a podcast about this a few years ago. So I randomly mentioned this idea of what if we just did more than nothing? What if you didn't commit to this long, aggressive, complicated program and schedule that you think might be necessary? What if the only thing that you committed to was doing more than nothing? That was the original post. I started a podcast based on that. And the very first episode was talking about that. And then I think a few episodes in, I had seen people using the hashtag more than nothing in a way that wasn't what it was intentionally designed for. It became, oh, I don't really feel like going hard, so more than nothing, hashtag, right? It became a way to not work hard, almost like an out. And that's not what it was initially intended to be. More than nothing is not an out. It is the biggest ever buy-in. It's the biggest in. And here's why. It removes the I can't do it all, so I won't do it at all narrative that we tell ourselves. Our message that more than nothing counts is not an invitation to do less on days that you could do more, but to push to do something on days where all you want to do is throw in the towel. So more than nothing is, instead of throwing in the towel when just everything has gone to hell, it's saying, no, I can still do something. That's not, I need to drop that mindset and just do something. Because as this member said, something is better than nothing. It's easier to keep doing a little than to start over. Maintain the habit at all costs. And that means 5 minutes of air squats and push-ups at the foot of your bed. And that, if that truly is all that you're capable of that day, mentally, physically, time-wise, whatever, then we value that. That more than nothing allows for that. It's not, I don't really feel like doing anything else, so I'm just going to do 5 minutes. Do you guys, I hope you can hear the distinction in that. But ultimately, the message is that to use this thought of more than nothing counts to help you maintain consistency. Do something. Do something even if it feels silly. You'll see that members are posting themselves working out in their break room at the hospital, or in their classroom during recess, or while their kids are in the bathtub. We value all of that. If that's truly what you need to do to make it happen that day, that is more impressive to us, to me, to the rest of the community than somebody who did a 3-hour-long workout and looked amazing and performed amazing while doing it. Honestly, it is. Doing that and showing up for yourself when you have every reason not to is what will drive consistency and ultimately what will change your life. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'm so grateful to the community of members that we have that have found success and have completed over 1,000 workouts. I hope that all of you guys are shooting to find that level of consistency. I know it can feel really far away, but time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well be chipping away at the 75, 365, and 1,000 milestones that we set for you. Set your own milestones, set your own goals, have fun, and please let us know how it's going. See you next time.